previously on the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. The party had taken a break from their exploration and delving of Undermountain after having succeeded in finding the next piece of Ezrah's artifact, the Halaster. Their R&R split the party, with Bones staying in the Lost levels with the Skull Takers, and the rest of the party venturing topside. Their first day of rest was relatively simple and straightforward, but on the second day, they were summoned before the Open Lord of Waterdeep, and their recent deeds were proclaimed to a public audience. The party had begun to make real waves within the city, and it was anybody's guess what would come of it. But, with no other recourse, the party just continued with their business. Ashes queried with the Guild of Apothecaries and Physicians about more training, and found that he would have little in the way of regulatory hurdles, but that it would cost a hefty chunk of money to achieve his goals, a chunk he couldn't quite afford at the moment. He then spent some time working with the Grey Hands in a rather strange and chaotic afternoon that he, for some reason, couldn't remember the specific details of. And then on the evening of the 14th, Ashes visited the House of the Moon, and his work with Taverin continued, with another grueling session of training along with the Warden of the Moon. Matashtai spent time practicing his speech and persuasion with his new tutor, the Masked Man, before visiting the city guard in an attempt to offer his services to them. At the North Ward Barracks, he met with Mandius, the Griffin rider that the party had met a few times previously. And Mandius offered Matashtai an opportunity to teach some fledgling members of the Griffin Cavalry the basics of hand-to-hand combat. Matashtai gladly accepted. Ezrah spent a portion of his day ordering scrolls from various makers throughout the city and continuing his research into Calabash's tome. The sorcerer made a bit of a breakthrough and obtained arcane knowledge from the book, but had no inkling as to how or why. Down in the 6th level of the dungeon, Bones spent the 14th crafting and assisting the Skull Takers in the creation of their new fungal garden, which went very smoothly thanks to the assistance of the Zorn moss-covered rock near stream. On the 15th, he visited with Willow along with Oz and Bigbeak, while Thresher and some of the other Skull Takers searched the wood for mushrooms. The visit was relatively pleasant and seemed to positively affect Willow's opinion of the party and of the Skull Takers. Back in Waterdeep, the rest of the party received a package thanking them for saving an individual's son, but no one in the party could remember who this individual might be. And so a bag of holding was gifted to the party for some reason, question mark, time, question mark.
Oops.
Ezrah then had a breakthrough in his research on the stone giants. Bishop Vithka of Ogma, one of the heads of the Font of Knowledge, became aware of Ezra's research and allowed the sorcerer to utilize a magical mirror that connected to the stone giants of Gravenhollow, a secret repository for knowledge hidden in the Underdark. Unfortunately, the keepers spoke almost in riddles, and Ezrah was only able to ask one question. Still, this opportunity afforded Ezrah a better chance than he had previously had at figuring out a way to handle the stone giants. Ezrah also made another breakthrough while working on Calabash's tome and discovered information about the 8th level of Undermountain, the Slither Swamp. In the meantime, Matashtai was taken to the peak-top eyrie of Mount Waterdeep by Mandius. There, the Kalashtar monks spent time training a group of fledglings with such success that he actually had some of the adults watching along with his lessons. After finishing at the Eyrie, Matashtai received lessons of his own, taking himself one step closer towards his goals. Ashes spent his day visiting... wait, did you do that? You didn't do that twice. I might have put this in multiple locations. You did not do this today. You did this the previous day. Ashes spent his day at the Lifted Spirits. My bad. Attempting to get to know the staff better and assisting them with their various tasks around the tavern. The Were came to realize that the Lifted Spirits was a relatively well-oiled machine run by a group of fine people servicing a happy group of regulars. That evening, Ashes went back to the Temple of the Moon where Ta'Veren awaited him. This time, the two used mirrors and glass panels to chase moonlight around a circular chamber beneath the top of the temple's tallest spire. The task was exhausting, but not as painfully tasking as the previous sessions. As they finished, Ta'Veren questioned Ashes about his plans, and specifically, about when he would publicly dedicate himself to Selûne, heavily implying that the Warden already thought Ashes was dedicated to the Night White Lady. Ashes was non-committal, and this seemed to trigger a reaction in Ta'Veren. Not one of annoyance or frustration, but one of finality. The Warden told Ashes that should he return to the House of the Moon unready to dedicate himself to the Moon Maiden, he would be killed. Ta'Veren also told him that should he resolve to dedicate himself and return, the two of them would fight beneath the moonlight. And again, Ta'Veren would kill him. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.